But I think as much as we all want to be like, why are we punishing the players? They did nothing wrong. You can't be part of the global community and not follow along with sanctions. Again, this is the nature of it. We have to do these same things.
I'm not trying to be funny, but like sanctions obviously being laid down by the United States and many other countries around the world who oppose the atrocities that are being committed in the name of special military operations. And they're affecting people in esports. So the first one here, Scott, as well, is, it's a shame to see this. This is a sign of the times, though. Quake, one of the longest living sort of 1v1 and team shooter FPS games, are complying with the US Treasury Department's policy and imposing sanctions, which means they're suspending Russian and Belarusian players from competing in the Pro League and challenges. Now, Quake is especially known for having incredible talent from that part of the world.
Ever heard of this guy? Holy shit.
Possibly the greatest. Yeah. Greatest to ever do it in Quake. Cypher still now at an age, he's probably about my age, even older, still competing in Quake. Unfortunately, he's unable to do that. Now, this is someone who's been playing Quake for, God, at least 10 years?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
If not more than that.
Yeah, Cypher, Cooler, like these guys in this game, like we talk about Counter-Strike has a very strong Eastern European influence and decades of history behind it.
So does Valorant right now as well.
And, like shooters in general, this region, and so the storied shooter, again following sanctions, not sanctioning because they're owned by Russian oligarchs. Like he's not sponsored by VP. It's because he's Russian, right? Because these sanctions are starting to hit the regular person because they're Russian.
You can't do business with Russian entities, right? So if you are the Quake Pro League, you must transact with a Russian entity, i.e. players that are from Russia. And even if you could, even if you, as Quake Pro League, wanted to get these guys paid, you physically couldn't do that.
Yeah.
As we've now discovered as well, with some news coming from Nathan Grayson here for the Washington Post, who mentions that the US sanctions now are affecting payment platforms for Russian streamers to get their revenue off of the platform. PayPal was like one of the last remaining payment providers in Russia. They've now decided not to service that region anymore. I mean, fucking hell, talk about Iron Curtain coming slamming down. So, yeah, a lot of Twitch streamers in Russia, many who I know, obviously vehemently oppose the current state of things insofar as they can do so without, putting their livelihood at stake, their literal lives, don't really have any way to sort of make money from streaming. And I know in Counter-Strike as well, but in general, there's a pretty strong Russian presence on the platform. It's an avenue for revenue, that's no longer open to these streamers. And one of the Russian streamers sort of said that they would probably still stream. A lot of them have communities as well, and I think a lot of their communities are worried about them. They also want to try and keep a window open into sort of what's going on. Some of these, Russian Twitch streamers, like the biggest Russian Twitch streamers, like pretty apolitical. Like not all of them are, they still kind of want to do their thing. But yeah, obviously it's huge for many of these big Russian streamers. Don't know what to say really. It's very unfortunate that you have to reside in Russia. It really is very unfortunate.
Yeah, and it's obviously, a lot of people are like, oh, just move. Like, come on, you just go somewhere else. It's so much easier to fucking
it could be
say
worse.
that, man.
You could live in the Ukraine. That could be worse.
Yeah, right now that would be worse.
Yeah.
And you also hear a lot, like, again, these people are all collateral damage. We talk about the Virtus Pro players, all these sanctions that affect just Russian.
Right, the ESL thing, right?
Yeah, that it just affects Russian citizenry. That's collateral damage in a different way than we're used to. And when you hear the words collateral damage in a war, you think, okay, a bomb hit a school, it meant to hit a munitions factory, collateral damage to the war or something like that. Not something you want, but you don't often think about the economic, just regular Joe Blow, want to go about their life and how a war affects them. Because then the next step for a Twitch streamer, like it's great to hear that those guys will keep streaming even though they're probably going to not be able to. It's not like Twitch is like keeping track and be like, okay, we'll catch up on all the money we owe you because they probably have lost all systems. But what happens when the servers go down and you can't even stream to your community?
I mean,
right?
Yeah. Also, like, why would the Kremlin want the youth of Russia to continue to be able to be influenced by, anything that runs counter to their narrative, which is going to be like 99% of what is said on Twitch that has anything to do with the conflict right now. Like, we already know that Russia are sort of encouraging people to spread Putin's version of the narrative, even on platforms like TikTok.
Yeah.
There are examples of videos of Russian youths on TikTok sort of talking about why this war is in fact justified and why this is, a good thing. And that, the directive from the Kremlin is for people that do know the real reason why they're going to war to calmly explain to those who don't understand it. But I think just the other day, there were 4,500 people detained in Russia, many with a potential sentence of up to 15 years for dissenting against the regime over there, for protesting for what's going on. So it's fucking insane out there, and we're only really getting a small glimpse into this situation. We talked about last week, though, this perpetual fucking victimhood put on display by Virtus.pro's management, right?
Yes.
A company who has direct and irrefutable ties to Russian elites, oligarchs, if you will, who said that this is a witch hunt, that our free speech is being negated or denied us. Well, we now know that they will be representing, the Virtus.pro team will be in the ESL Pro League, but they are mostly complying with the directive from ESL to not represent that particular brand. They instead are going to call them, fuck me dead.
I know.
They instead are going to call themselves outsiders.
So close.
Really?
They were so close.
So, listen, there could be a ton of reasons for this, but what it seems to me like is that in a huff, the management of this org says, oh, well, you are ostracizing us and you're coming for us and against us, so we are the outsiders now. Yeah, we're martyred. Our name has been martyred, but we are now the outside. Like, sorry, what?
How are you owned by a guy that I think got his yacht taken from him in Hamburg or whatever, right? And
was it like an $800 million super yacht or something? Oh no, that was a different
We're the
oligarch.
Outsiders. That's the ultimate
This is what
victim.
it is. This is what happens, right? Is that these sanctions come in.
It's insane.
And these Russian elites just complain of Russophobia. Like, that's what it really is. Like, it's got nothing to do with the fact that a ceasefire in Mariupol was recently contravened so the fuckers could bomb a hospital. And you're crying about your free speech and cancel culture while hospitals full of people are literally being targeted in Mariupol. I don't know what to say. Like, you, Mr. Boss of VP, go fuck yourself.
He said that.
Yeah.
Just, that guy over there.
Go fuck yourself. Oh, my God. Anyway, so at least they're competing. And for the players' sake, I don't know how they're supposed to get paid or whatever. There's probably some avenue in which they can do that, because normally teams probably take off the top, or the teams take the prize money and then disseminate it. So
yeah, this still gets into a whole, so obviously they've made a decision. These guys are going to try to play as outsiders. We're still waiting to hear what Gambit's going to do. Gambit's also an EPL. They have been renamed Unknown as the team in the listing. These teams play in the second half of the groups starting next week, because EPL started yesterday. Okay. Yesterday or today. But these teams aren't in these first couple groups. So we'll see who shows up, because it also, once they decide to play, they got to get to the event. They got to get visas. They got to get out of the country if they went back to the country. So we'll see who actually shows up for these matches.
Okay.
But yeah, it's just... And I think as much as we all want to be like, why are we punishing the players? They did nothing wrong. You can't be part of the global community and not follow along with sanctions. Again, this is the nature of it. We have to do these same things.
I'm not trying to be funny, but we have had, if you live in America, for example, you have had to live with the consequences of living under Donald Trump, right? Which is not, I would say, believe it or not, yes, people are getting hysterical, not remotely as severe as what the people of Russia are dealing with, but the impact of this falls upon the people, right? Great examples, American folks probably don't have a great reputation if people only look at them through the lens of the Donald Trump presidency and see the people at the fucking insurgency on Capitol Hill. You know what I mean? And the people have to live with that stain on their nationality, their culture as a result. This is much more severe than that. Obviously, there are people's livelihoods that are directly and viscerally being impacted by what their leader is deciding to do. And yeah, I'm not saying that they have the capacity to go out and just oppose him and change things from the inside. I think it's, it's really It's a real fucking shame. And
Yeah.
that just doesn't go far enough to describe, the conditions in which many Russian people are living. And they really, it's cosmic misfortune that they are born and live in that country.
I mean, we're witnessing the destruction of two countries right now, really.
Yeah.
And maybe one was already very broken in Russia, but like, Jesus. And I did the Olympics there in Sochi, so I met a bunch of young people who were on my staff, like 70 of them. And again, they want nothing but to be westernized and wear like, again, they're not like their parents or their parents' parents at all, right?
But they don't really have any power.
And they have no power, though, right? And so my heart goes out to all of them because, again, they're just fucked, right? Or they're getting the hell out.
Yep.
Hopefully they have the wherewithal to get out. So, again, we'll keep an eye on it. This is not going to go away quickly.
On a slightly lighter note, though.
Yes. This is cool.
Yeah, so itch.io put together a bundle for Ukraine. So essentially, a indie games bundle that featured over 900 games for a $10 minimum sort of donation. $1 million in under 24 hours. There are the rates, which is fantastic. There's a ton of awesome initiatives right now that we're seeing, both official and sort of, much like this one that sort of popped up in the wake of what's going on there. But a bit of a feel-good story in a very dark time as well. It's great to see gamers are also, with some incentive, no doubt, but are willing to give to a cause like this. Hopefully it continues to happen because the people in Ukraine continue to need our support.
And it's a great bundle. Like, a lot of the games in the bundle are like $10 each just for the one game.
Yeah.
So, like, plenty of money's worth and a great cause.
If you like
cause.
if you're like me and have a bunch of games in your Steam library you haven't got a chance to play yet, this is a great way to continue ensuring that status quo is maintained for quite some time.
Yeah.
I think.
And it lets you, I looked at it yesterday, I bought into it, I threw some extra money because you can add more if you want.
Yeah.
$10 is the minimum,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And you can gift, so if you got some money, you want to gift the bundle to somebody else. Just really, really cool stuff. And it's just depressing that we're gonna have to talk about this shit for a while because I just want to talk about drama and esports, not necessarily people dying.
Yeah, we have plenty.
War,
we have plenty
right?
of that, but unfortunately, yeah. And I always find the people that say that keep politics out of gaming or whatever is that doesn't really work because culture is downstream of politics. Yep. So esports is affected by that. Fuck me.
Yeah, welcome to the world.
Can you think of all the things we've talked about the last few weeks that have been related to sort of politics, like the ESL acquisition, right? Like the whole NEOM sort of stuff. Obviously, this Ukraine stuff. Talking about DMCA and stuff, litigation stuff. It's intertwined. It's just a part of life. I think in
crypto, financial world.
Well, yeah. I mean, I don't know if you're going to be able to get away from that either. I think that's definitely coming, and I understand the resistance to it, but I think it's ultimately a little futile. That's a personal opinion. But yeah, so all these things are going to be impacted. So if you're one of the people that's like, keep politics out of my gaming, then just stick to gaming and don't just play single player games for the rest of your life. You might be able to stay. You might be able to keep politics out of it. But as soon as you involve other people, there it is. Politics.